Hi, and welcome to the first episode of Content Marketing and the video series where we'll explore how content marketing pretty much affects and is, in my opinion, the most important type of marketing. And today we're going to be focusing on how content marketing works with Google algorithms and why it's important. Something that's going to start up each one of these video series is going back to this point that Seth has made, that content marketing is the only marketing left. It's something that I believe in. It's something that I practice. And so this is just an important way to start off. I'm going to start off every single video in the series with this message because this is what I believe. So with that being said, let's roll right into it. So SEO has been a big part of my job. It's what I've been doing for coming on close to 10 years. But certainly a little bit more on the content optimization side of things. Technical was never really my strength, but something that's been consistent for the entire time I've been in this industry is that the algorithm is king. I swear we spend most of my time going to conferences, constantly trying to discover what's the newest change in the algorithm update, trying to predict what's going to happen next, and then reacting when one comes out of nowhere and surprises us all. I'm like, oh my god, how do we react to this? So I think this is kind of why conferences around SEO were created, to kind of see, well, what affects rankings? This question still gets asked all the time. Well, what affects ranking? What do we do next? And I really believe that I kind of described a long time ago that you should try to be looking ahead of the curve as opposed to reacting to the algorithm. And I was, constantly asking myself, so how do we go about doing that? How is that effective? And so just like everybody else, whenever I go to conferences like SMX or PubCon or anything like that, I would always be looking for those Google keynotes, which inevitably were always on the last day. And I was like, this is it. This is what, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to hear Matt Cutts talk about what affects ranking, and that's it. That's going to be law. That's what's going to happen. And quickly, all that happened was this, dodging of questions and answering questions that turned out not to be very true. It was always around of, they go down and say, all right, now schema markup has nothing to do with, ranking. Click-through rate has nothing to do with ranking, and all these sort of things. When then I go to Maz's blog or all the great tests that Rand Fishkin would do, and it would kind of disprove those theories. So I was like, well, what's the point of going to? Why was I so excited about these keynote speaks? This is when I would look at Google, I'd be like, well, this is pointless. And it's got to the point for the past 2 years. I go to these keynotes. I don't really pay much attention because they're kind of pointless. They're always entertaining. Thanks to Danny Sullivan, he makes them entertaining. It's like a difficult Q&A where nothing really comes out, and half the stuff they say, it just turned out not to be true. So why was I going? Why was I listening? And then this year, in 2015, I kind of had it was a great moment. It was a combination of two conferences back to back where I really started to discover this / Rand Fishkin tell me what's going on. We had the keynote speak at the Q&A session at SMX Advanced this year, where Danny was interviewing Gary there, kind of replacing Matt Cutts as this person. And he said, outright, click-through rate does not affect rankings. Earlier in the conference, I'd also heard that schema markup does not affect rankings. And everything I do internally, every test I hear about is like, well, that's not true. I can see it. I do it on my own clients. I can see that it works. But then I went to Content Marketing World and I saw Rand Fishkin speak, so much so that I liked this speech so much that I saw it again at PubCon like 3 months later, where he had revealed the results of his test, where it was essentially a click-through rate test, where he had people go in, click on the number 4, he'd have people click on the first result for like best grilled steaks and have them go immediately back to the search results. And then he'd have them go to the number 4 rank, which was a grilled steak recipe that he was really passionate about, and have them not only click through to that page, but then stay on there for a long time. So essentially making a very engaging experience. And immediately we started to see results, and then Rand Fishkin reported that went up to number 2 within no time, and then after a matter of weeks went up to number 1. So I had this moment of, they blatantly said it does not affect rankings, and then Rand comes out with this test showing that it does affect rankings. So what's exactly going on here? And it was part of Rand Fishkin's speech was going on to the up and coming emergence of machine learnings. And rank brain and all this is public knowledge. Everyone knows about this, and essentially Google has, to put it as quickly as possible, Google now has an algorithm that rewrites its own algorithm depending on what Google considers to be an important ranking factor for audiences. Okay, so this is where it dawned on me. All right, Google doesn't even know what's affecting. Google doesn't even know what's affecting rankings at this point. This all was perfect sense, They don't even know. So they're saying this, but the machine learning is rewriting the algorithm, essentially, for lack of a better term, and as a result, user engagement and task completion appears to be what's most important to these machines. So therefore, that's what's affecting rankings. That's what's most important. So Google can blatantly say that they didn't think that click-through ranking was a good ranking factor, but guess what? The machines think it's probably one of the most important ranking factors because that shows engagement, that shows a relevant website, that shows a useful website, that they're going on to it and staying on there for a long time. Okay, and can they complete the task they wanted to set out, whether that was to be entertained or whether it was to find a particular location or was it to fill out a form, whatever it was. That's what's most important. So user engagement, a good website with good useful content was the most important thing to these machines. And that's something that's really important to realize. It's something I've started to, and I've been doing it for the past couple of years, is forget the algorithm updates. Forget about them. At this point, it's out of Google's hands in some respects. If you create a website with amazing content that speaks to them, then that's going to help your engagement and therefore is going to help your ranking. Isn't that important? So, and even down to something like schema markup, where maybe schema markup didn't affect rankings, but schema markup affected click-through rates to that website, and as a result, it affected engagement on that website, therefore making you rank higher. It all made perfect sense now. Is this a fact at this time? No, but every test shows that this is where it's going. Okay, so how does this all lead back to content marketing and why it's important? Essentially, audience-focused content is the most important thing that you can have on your website. You have to learn your audience at such a deep level that you can produce content that you know they're going to be interested in, know that's going to be engaging to them, know that's the right information that they want. If you can learn your audience at that level, then you can create content that's going to, blow their minds, and as a result, it's going to help your rankings on Google. So this is exactly how content marketing and Google, the algorithms are intertwined, because you don't even have to worry about the algorithms if you create amazing audience-focused content. And audience-focused content is, in some ways, another way of saying content marketing, creating content that's very unique, very valuable to your audience. Forget it, outside of your brand. So I hope that makes sense. That's kind of why I think, if you focus on content marketing and you're doing a perfect job of that, you don't have to worry about the algorithm updates. So how are the two intertwined? Well, if you do one right, you don't have to worry about the other one. All right. So thank you. Appreciate your comments, your feedback, your disagreements would be even more awesome. Let's get a dialogue going. Let's start talking about this, seeing if people agree with me. Am I on the right train? Otherwise, thank you. And I will normally be doing this on a weekly basis. I'm going to be taking just a couple weeks off to get the second episode going around the Christmas holidays. But thank you for tuning in, and look forward to your feedback.